Tell her to keep it up.
Hi,
I'm Michael.
Michael Martin.
Nice to meet you, Marvin. Yes, you're ready.
Yeah, I have.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so
You're
much.
not there anymore?
Education. Yeah, I switched over to
So
what is this?
Right.
So you're just a block away, right?
Yeah.
How we made it.
I'll be there on Friday for
If they want to access it, this is
no,
how we
federal,
just send them this.
credible
Oh, so they'll
program
like
team.
send
Yeah,
a message.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can view or they chat.
I also remember.
Oh.
We actually send it to Maury, Jerry,
Uh-huh.
Because he
You
would,
have the
he would
inside
email
scoop.
me during the summer.
and then
like,
Patches gets to.
I'm trying to get a hold of.
That's in the
this
notes as well.
Oh, okay.
Here's it, like, and I'm not able to get hold of them. They're there. We're flying on summer break right now.
So I would
What's your
email that
goal?
to Maury.
Yeah,
and-
I'll CC you and I just do it now.
Okay,
So you can see. I just say here to the meeting stream.
okay. That would be great.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, thanks you guys for coming.
Yeah, I guess you gotta put in they
I
do abstracts.
So I'm just gonna.
I have everything I can get to. I need the chit chat with your mom. I finally have it.
So that's all we were gonna do. Then we hand it over to Nick and his team.
Yes,
and they can-
so I have to do, well, I have to do all the data abstracts, I have to upload them, and then once it's all there, all set up, then they can do the API.
Okay.
It's good, but I have several items on my things off with our special items.
You better get to know who your special ed person is.
How's the beginning of the school year going?
Yeah, well,
It's definitely going.
we had students, so.
You already have today?
Oh, yeah. How much you got?
I was out there this morning. Are you out there? I don't monitor.
Just over the pool look down. I can stretch my legs. That's like a comic book. No, the one Southwest, there's like, oh, is there one? It's just light up safety. That's pretty good. Here you go.
No, I don't.
What's up with, that's not the first early chicken.
Happy birthday, happy birthday. Coming
Thank you.
up. Many more returns.
So, God willing, yes.
Yes.
I thought we were getting a year and go back to I had a kidding rep parent told me walking in the morning, like super loud in the orientation. I guess the main question. Really happy because I think she was telling me a little bit of my birthday because she can. See, I have the premium seat things.
I know, I actually thought about sitting there.
You want to school?
I just wanted to see exactly how bad it was. I did too. So
Thing it's movable.
yeah.
So it might not be a bad idea. No, yeah, Bill was. It's good.
But then they're all. Who was I talking to? Oh, Linda Proton, who is my CDO friend, who now works for Sirius. She's like the business specialist in Amador County. She tells me his name. I go, what was actually his name? So she used
Good, how are you, Jerry?
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So did you understand my email? Yeah. Now that I'm impression, like I don't know Monday happened. Second, I also did my as long as she has fingerprints. She's trying to, so she actually applied for parity. That will take about 6 months to a year. So she's gonna have to function. Yeah. California takes forever, and they can process those. You go to the electronic and they clear us. She has some classes. She might have been taking them. Oh, well, but she's going. Yes. We'll have to start there. There, yeah. To help apply for hers.
Well, just in case anyone wants to ask questions in terms of who you have to charter, we do all the pocket cards.
Oh, I like that. Thank you. You guys are great when I'm board members or not. I call to order the Gateway Community Charter School Board Meeting, regular board meeting, August the 13th, 4:45 p.m. Welcome everyone to our very first board meeting of our new school year. So glad to see everyone. And now I will do roll call. Roll call of Directors Black, Mr. Block. Anderson. Turner. Mandrick.
Here.
Campbell. All present and counted. We will now move into 1.2, the annual organization items for 2019-2020. I will entertain discussion. Yes.
I move that we keep the same organizational structure that we have this year.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
Mr. Block, were you second or did you have a comment? Oh, second, okay. We didn't hear down here, but Mr. Mandrick did it also. Okay, it's been moved in second. We're now open for discussion. Any discussion? Is everyone happy with their That's it, that's it.
Don't ask that.
Are you happy?
That's right. You're being mostly watched by the audience.
Yes. We are. All hearing no discussion.
We like our board president. To be board president.
Okay, well, I guess that's it now. No other discussion. All in favor of the board staying, the members staying in their present position as is, known by the voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Trying to be nice. We got a lot of people here, so.
Congratulations.
Okay, congratulations to our treasurer, our secretary, our director, and our vice president.
And our president, we appreciate you all very much.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, do we have any public comment? No public comments. All right, then with that, we are now moving to the superintendent's update, and I'm sure she has good stuff to tell us today.
We have lots and lots to talk about today because it's been quite a while since we have officially come together. But prior to going through the many great things, I'd like to ask Michael Gillespie to introduce a few people to the board.
Sure, I'm actually gonna refer that to some of the principals. I'm gonna have John Campbell come up with Michelle.
Okay. Good thing about being CCC, I feel like you get to go first. You know what's gonna happen.
So I know last year, many of the VPs here were at the annual updates that they gave you, but we wanted to officially recognize them as new members of the leadership team. I'm gonna ask John to do a quick introduction of Michelle.
Michelle Jordan, who's been with CCS for fifth year. Yeah, right. She was in the interim VP role when the summer. Ash was out and then, part-time back in solid last year. So she was already filled in and stepping in full-time this year.
And again, give us the name so we.
Michelle Jordan.
Michelle Jordan, welcome.
Thank you. Jerry and Ashley, come on up. So, Ashley, you're moved by me.
Good to see everybody. Both members of the board, Dr. Peterson, cabinet guest. I'd like to introduce to you our new vice principal at Epic, Ashley Cow. Ashley started her teaching career with GCC 6 years ago at CCCS West Sacramento, and she's been at Epic since its inception, serving as a teacher, curriculum coach, and PYP coordinator. She was instrumental in working with staff on successful PYP implementation for International Baccalaureate, which has led to our recent authorization. So Ashley played a huge role in that. She recently obtained her preliminary admin credential from SCOE, and she plans on continuing her education in the future. And her hobbies include reading, traveling, and spending time with family. She's a valuable member. She's a valuable member of the Epic team, and we're lucky to have her in.
I would say people were only happy because they have no time for a hobby.
Great introduction, Jerry. Thank you. And then, this is a face you might
Oh,
recognize.
yes.
Is Daniel Kuhlman. He is the new vice principal at Higher Learning Academy. Before that, he spent 2 years as curriculum coach, 3 years as curriculum coach at Community Outreach Academy. Before that, he was a teacher at Higher Learning Academy.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
2011 to 2016.
Right.
So to give you a frame of time reference for those of you who have been here a long time, my first principal was on Gutierrez.
Yeah.
So he's come full circle, and he's going to be supporting the PYP program for ID at Higher Learning Academy this year. And we're really fortunate to have Daniel back. He's actually teaching right now.
I got out today. Thank you to the HR department.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got our new 5th grade hire in there, so I was able to get it in my office.
So he was, yesterday, first of all, he was teaching because they were still hiring people to come on board. So really want to commend him for the great start of the year. Thanks.
Yeah.
welcome to all of our new faces and our new people. We are so happy to have you aboard with us and to work for students and parents, and we know you will do a great job. So again, welcome, and we're glad to welcome you to have you. Thank you.
So, moving on, thank you, Michael, and thank you, principals and vice principals. So we want to welcome everyone to our 17th year at Gateway Community Charters. We kicked off the year kind of officially this last Friday with cabinet donning aprons and flipping pancakes. We were quite excited, cabinet directors and central office staff out making breakfast for all 550 people who showed up. We had a good time, got some good feedback. Enjoyed being with one another on Friday, and we want to thank Lily and Harry, who both were able to attend and represented the board well. Thank you for that. Want to give everyone a bit of a kudo for the amount of summer facilities projects that were underway. None of them were as big as the Prop 1D project in the past, but it doesn't make them any less memorable. We had the Community Collaborative Elementary Program and CTE moving into the former future site and sharing with COA Middle School area. We had COA Elementary School moving into the Dudley B campus with some cosmetic work. We had the GCC central offices underway with some creation of small offices. You may or may not have noticed on the other wall, because we need this for our ever-growing special education department to have privacy for FERPA-related issues. GIS went through some significant modernization across the summer. Some very stressful moments last week with no air conditioning, but are now in portables, have air conditioning, and have started their year. Epic had some renovations that were far overdue, with making their lobby fresh and nice with new flooring and new wall paint, etc. It was very nice. Rancho did have the multi-purpose room had some significant work done to put striping on the floor so that we can have sports, and we actually, I think, boards and poles so that we can actually put in some volleyball standards of some kind, and also completed the stage. So, and that's where we held the welcome back. We spoke from the stage on the road at the Rancho Del Paso on Friday, so it's quite exciting. We also, right before that, completed the GCC Administrators Retreat, which we will go into more depth with the board at your retreat. But I understand that Jason says we have some pictures up here that have been put together. You want to see pictures? I have no idea what we're looking at because Jason put these together. That's my disclaimer. So yes, here we were. We were at that, making sure we were at, if you cannot tell, the Aerospace Museum, and squinting into the sun and enjoying the backdrop there. We had about 33 of us. This is us picking up the State of the Union kind of approach together in the room there, and talking about our positives and opportunities that we're going to present to you for at your retreat into a little more detail and really being reflective as school teams. Talked a little bit about our coherence work and connected to our vision around Ubuntu, which we'll talk to you more about as well. You can see here we shared presenting out at various times by Seth Rivers. This is our vice principal, Grace. You see here some familiar faces in the audience. Wearing our brand new polo shirts that were provided by A4E. John and Aaron did some work on accountability partner excellence and how to really push each other to excellence. Let that speak for itself. It was a, yeah, I'll tell you about it later. We did a number of icebreakers, and again, here we are with parents work. Really enjoyed the space we were in. It was very inspired in the space and appreciated it. You may have noticed as you came in, there's a card by the door. This is the center of it. So talking about Ubuntu, which is Ubuntu in Hebrew is what we're working on this year. So just a little sneak peek. Everybody in the audience is like, oh my goodness, that was just a short 2 weeks ago that we did that work. So that's your admin retreat kind of but the other thing we had is we had CKH training once again this last week for new staff, and I think It's our 8th year training in CPH. We also had our Community Business Advisory Council that kicked off for the year, and as generally happens at the beginning, we gave them a presentation on the State of the Union as well as where we are with the Blueprint for Excellence, which the board will be providing input on adopting at their retreat for this year. We got a lot of positive feedback and excitement about those at the table wanting to positively continue partnering with us in the coming year for our great work. Also want to recognize that Aaron Thornsbury was recently named to AXA Region 3's Business Services Council, and we really appreciate that he is representing AXA on our behalf. We do have Dr. Christine McCormick is also on on the Region 3 leadership team for her work with the Women's Leadership Network. She's taking over, so we're very pleased they are both representing on our behalf. You will have more information later on the agenda about GABA, Gateway Academic and Vocational Academy, but we want to update the board that significant time occurred over the summer. Trying to figure out how to say that nicely. Providing Lodi District with a number of legal documents as a result of their Public Records Act requests. We're attending 2 separate board meetings related to their ultimate denial of our novel petition. We will give more information, as I said, on that later as it falls into study session. And I want to update you on our first day of school enrollment for our schools that are site-based, but not our independent study, because that takes longer for independent study enrollment to come in. But approximately as of day 2, COA Elementary is at around 1,300, middle school 350, EPIC 416, Futures 438, GIS 592, HLA 446, which is a total enrollment of 3,592. Now it is approximate, because there's always a tiny bit of cleanup, but it's pretty close. And that is nearly 400 more. How much? 397 more students than we had this time last year. Okay, Mr. Business should be smiling. This will definitely help them have a little breathing room. But really want to give huge kudos to all of the principals and all their staff, because a lot of really good work has been going into the excellence at their school sites, at their outreach at those school sites, and their building up of their staff and program to allow that to happen. So kudos to all of our site-based.
Could you tell me what you said HLA is?
HLA 446.
446 at this time.
I don't have the
Yeah.
exact for that.
That's not true. Okay.
Sorry, but I will say I thought it was about 60 more than last year. Somewhere around that. Okay, so that is the board. That is the superintendent.
Board members, comments, discussion? Yeah.
Real top, we'll break that down more by like grade level and site and over time at the board retreat, as we always do, but we wanted to give you a week 1 snapshot.
Thank you. And thank you for your work and all you're doing. So appreciate it. And the information. And with that, if there are no other comments or questions or discussion, we will move to item 4, study session. And 4.1. So we're ready for that one?
Yeah, 4.1. So,
Yes, Gateway Academic and Vocational Academy.
So as you will remember, we submitted a petition to Lodi Unified School District to have a replication charter in the North Stockton area. Our response from Lodi was less than collaborative, and in fact went right to legal. And we spent much of the summer creating over 381 individual documents and 16 folders to not only answer their original request, but to answer any additional expansions upon their request. Right down to the last response we gave them when we said they could come down here and we would open any box, provide any backup, and copy anything they wanted for them, and they refused. And 2 days later, we had a board meeting that was less than positive, and wound up with a vote of 6-1 to deny the charter, only they had no findings of fact. In fact, there were some allegations made prior to the vote that were not in alignment with law and legal reasons for denying a charter. When we left the board meeting, we requested the recordings that they have of their meetings, at which time they realized their mistake and called a special board meeting for the next Thursday. This original meeting was Tuesday, they called a special board meeting Thursday. And at Thursday's one item meeting, once again reaffirmed that they actually had meant to deny on the findings of fact, and at this point voted 7 to deny the charter. Both times, both meetings, Tuesday and Thursday, staff, a variety of staff did amazing jobs responding to both in writing and in form to the Lodi's legal, which, like I said, was not factual, and was in fact quite informative. But it did not sway the outcome, but it did move us that much closer to our next steps, which are that we will be submitting a county appeal to San Joaquin County early next week, actually next week, not really early next week. We have already had more conversations with San Joaquin County than we had with Lodi during the entire process of their petition review, if you will. So today, Jason and I had a long conversation with the Associate Superintendent of Student Services, Troy Brown. Very collaborative, very friendly, had already been to our website. He's very interested in our ID schools and our Project Legal schools. Looked at your videos, talked about our programs, already knows more about us than what I did in the whole process, and offered already to come out and see our programs. So we're really excited about the process.
And that's the
County Associate Superintendent. And then outlined for us that his suggestion is that we deliver our charter to start the clock with them on the 21st when they have their meeting on August 21st. So at that point, that's what we believe we will be doing. And we believe we will get a fair hearing with them. And we'll be moving towards what our political and strategic and cooperative work with them to get to their goal. Jason, is there anything that I had forgotten to say?
Board members, discussion, yes.
I had an opportunity to read the newspaper article from the Lodi paper. And I think you're right, there appear to be some assertions that indicate a lot of no substance, since I've kind of known this organization. One thing kept coming up at least several times in the article was something about covering the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
What are the 4 quarters?
Well, when you turn in a charter and its documents in the process, the charter, your documents, anything that you provide for them during this process is all supposed to be considered. But I think the board president kept using the 4 corners to try to make the case that they could only look at the original charter petition and not the other things that were provided, and therefore the financial information that they were asking for was not in the 4 corners of the charter petition.
Oh, the original.
Yes, right, which is just not accurate, because basically everything you provide for them is part of the record. But I think it was a way for them to say, well, that wasn't in the record, but honestly, then why are you asking for it in the Public Records Act request? Because that's also not in the, so they played sides of that argument there. So that was what they were using their term for. And I will say, just so that people know, our research says that that particular newspaper doesn't get a ton of readership. And They didn't spell my name right, so I don't know if they're wrong, they but we did also think that they represented what I said
And we did.
well. Okay, I mean, so I don't think it's worth too much energy.
I'm just curious, so now we're going to the county.
Yeah.
Are we creating an adversarial condition if we get approved and now we have to work with this?
If we can improve, it'd be like Epic, where we work with Yolo, we were approved by Yolo County, and even though we're in Washington Unified District, we work with Yolo County, that's what this would be. We'd be approved by San Joaquin, working with San Joaquin, and living in Lodi, but not having to work with them at this time.
Any other discussion, any other questions? Okay, we'll just wait and hear the next episode, where we are at the next step. So thank you so much, both of you, and all of you for your hard work and going to all of these meetings. All right, and now we move to 4.2, legislative update, and I guess it's Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders.
Hey, good evening, board. I come to you with your legislative update. I will tell you it will be fairly brief because our legislators are enjoying something called summer,
Yes.
which they have a tendency to do. However, they still seem to manage to do something. I use this particular PowerPoint slide to kind of make reference that when we started this legislative cycle, this felt like a rainstorm, and today it's really more of a few drops that are left of the original onslaught of charter bills that kind of occurred and started. So with that being said, I want to let you know that since our last meeting, there are 2 bills that have completely died in terms of they are gone for this session, and that is SB 756, which was the moratorium on new charter schools. It had passed appropriations committee, but it died at the author's request before heading to the full Senate. AB 1506, which was introduced by our local Assembly member, Kevin McCarty, which would have put another moratorium or cap on charter schools. That also died prior to going to the Senate before the beginning of the summer time. So both of those have died for the year and they will not return. AB 1505, just to remind you, this is the one that gives local school districts sole authority to approve new charters. There is some parts of it that eliminates the State Board of Education from hearing appeals, as well as it limits the grounds for new charters to appeal as it goes through the process. I will tell you this continues to go through a number of amendments as it moves through. Currently, it sits for the summer in the Senate Appropriations Committee. July 10th, it passed the Senate Education Committee, and so now it's going to appropriations for budget review. Assembly member O'Donnell, who is the chair of the Assembly Education Committee, has been very vigorously fighting for this bill to keep it alive, because again, this is one of 2 bills that have kind of survived. So he's really fighting hard for this one. AB 1507, which was introduced by a huge preponderance of the Assembly Education Committee. This one allows non-classroom-based charter schools in some cases to be located outside of authorizing districts, but within the same county. This one is the one that we internally are watching very closely for a number of reasons. It's currently sitting in the Senate Appropriations Committee. It passed out to what's called second reading, which means that there were amendments that were made on yesterday, and we are waiting to actually hear what the full amendments that were added to the bill and what they were made in terms of the author's discussion. So basically what happens is the author now has an opportunity to either accept those amendments into their bill, or they can decline them. So we'll see, and we'll keep you updated. Just to also bring to your conclusion where we last did leave is when we met in June, we were talking about the California Charter School Task Force. They have completed their work. As with anything related to charter schools, it's not without controversy in that they came up with 5 unanimous kind of, I guess you could say, recommendations back to the governor. And in addition to those 5, they also had the 7 that were called the majority, and everyone else has really called those items in question. So There were things that the total collaborative group did not agree on. However, they seem to have made it into the State Superintendent of Public Instruction's final report. At this time, it is unclear what will happen with this task force document, other than legislators are picking out certain numbers and certain pieces that they want to use in their respective arguments. From our end, we continue to do a lot of legislative work, myself and Sergey, as well as Dr. Peterson, with the legislator, with our advocacy groups to kind of keep our story in front. Dr. Peterson doing her summer break, had to write letters and sign them and everything else so that we could make our argument for the July 10th Education Committee hearing. And we'll continue that work as the legislator returns back, and they'll start their next cycle. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion, any questions? Just wait till next.
Yeah, I think that we still cannot breathe freely because it's not done, but it is certainly a far cry better than where we started from, which was mass annihilation of everything that has anything to do with charters. And so I think we need to remain positive, and then we'll just have to have a strategy when we find out what it is we're actually facing. Thank you, Jason, for tracking all that.
All right, and now we're in GCC Administrative Leadership Retreat.
So I'm going to say that I unfortunately had forgotten that this was on here. So I'm gonna report just a few small things, if that's okay. So this year we began the retreat on an evening, which was the first time we have done that. And it was actually in response to, we always send out a survey monthly afterwards, and so it was a suggestion of participants in previous years that it would be nice to start the night before and kind of do the get to know you and, hey, I remember you from last year, kind of talk and do some of that work. So we got together here on Tuesday night and had a nice dinner and built our social contract and had some icebreakers and learned what we had done over the summer. And what that let us do is the next morning at the Aerospace Museum, it let us get right on because then we'd already done the relational work. So then we spent 2 days at the Aerospace Museum in their space, and that was because our CVAC member, Tom Jones, who's the executive director of the Aerospace Museum, was very generous to allow us that, and he came and checked on us and supported us while we were there as well. And we had a very full agenda, but we still had some time to have nice icebreakers, as you saw, with people underneath with their shoes and other weird things. And we had numerous people carrying leadership. So I did some presenting, Jason did some, Michael did some, Mike Blomquist did some presenting, as did Dr. McCormick. So I think it was a nice balance of different voices. We also had some quality time to go over our goals, our priorities, our core values, our CKH, a little bit of inspirational guidance about coming here. And overall, I think well received and productive. And I think will move us into the year in a positive way. So we built on that when we came to the welcome back. So those of you that met us get that idea. And you know, as I've shared with the CVAC when I talked to them about some of the same material, the hardest part of leadership is not the single message. It's how to get the message that you live with intention throughout the whole year, and how to make meaning throughout the whole year. So now that is our work, both at the sites and in the central office, to take the things that we learned, make them real and intentional, and act on them throughout the year. We're looking forward to doing that together. But many of the things that we did at the retreat, as you know, will come back to you in some form at your own retreat, which is the end of this month. All right, questions?
Questions? And what you did at the back to school really gave him what went on in the retreat. So really great, really. And I'll speak a little bit more later. All right, so we're now down to vocational academics restructure.
So you have it in front of you in purple here as well, as we're gonna put it up on the screen. So you have some items later on in the consent agenda item that are related to job descriptions that are new this year, and I'm just gonna kind of give you a sense of why we're creating some new job descriptions. So it's around SAVA and the vocational academies, if you will. And it's about how we're going to create structure in order to sustain growth and leadership and excellence in the vocational academies. So just to give you some history, we originally had SAVA granted by Grant Joint Union High School District in the spring of 2007. We opened in August of 2007 with the two original sites, which were Power Inn Road and White Road. Those are the same two that we have today, or two of which we have today. But there have been many changes since 2007. We've had two significant leadership challenges we've overcome in that time, and I'm not going to belabor the details of those, but we have overcome some amazing things in both of those moments. We also had a number of location changes, not all of which are still true today, which is we've been in West Sacramento, we've been at the Urban League, Sim Center Firehouse, Moon Youth, and even when you've changed from downtown from a location to downtown, and more recently, they opened our North Market location in Thomas. In each of these places, we've also had expanding footprints, so the leases have included additional suites, additional buildings, additional space, and we withstood the challenge of the Anderson finding in order to get our 3 authorizers and continue serving students. We have expanded program in incredible ways, including partnerships, internships, job shadow, WIOA, and much more. And we have a number of possible future expansions that are in the works, including our Firehouse Cafe work together with CCCS, a location on Fruit Ridge, our GABA, and a few other things that we're working on. Just to give you a little bit of the history over time, since 2008, we have grown 48.4%. So in 10 years, SAVA has grown 48.4%. That's a lot of growth, and that's a lot of changing infrastructure necessary to withstand that growth. The programs have also expanded over time. In the beginning years, we had 4 CTE classes being offered on the original 2 campus. We had no articulated classes. And from 2002 to the current times, we've grown to 35 different CTE classes across 5 different campuses. We have over 10 articulated courses, and we have over 10 pathways. We've worked significantly on our WIOA workforce development, including career readiness, job shadowing, case management, 1,000 strong, and that doesn't even mention all of our CTE and other grants that we have been managing in these programs. This is what the original structure looked like for SAVA in 2007. We had a principal at each of the 2 sites that we had at the time. At the beginning of last year, we had something like this. We changed the job description and title of the principal to recognize that it was a multiple campus principal, which was more complex than other principals were, and we requisite changed the salary at the same time. But the actual structure remained the same. We had a principal, we had vice principals. So 6 of those vice principals, 4 of which were on campuses. And it was 5 before this time until CIA was moved under Sac City because of the legislation. That's when it became 6 vice principals. So it's a fairly flat structure where everything really rested with the principal. So I want you to see a little bit about where they are right now. So for the 1920 school year, at their various sites, they are projecting these numbers for CBEDs: 350 for Power Inn, 125 for Natomas, 250 for Sim Center, 300 for Elk Grove, and 20 for CIA. And those will grow, obviously, as the year progresses, conservatively to the numbers you see on the other side of the screen. And that's a lot of staff members, including the ones you see down below, which is approximately. That we also have 10 special education staff. And special education is getting much more complex for Saba, being that they have such a high identification rate and they are their own LDA now for that provision of special ed. CTE adds another layer of specialized staff and specialized need as well. So this is just, again, a way to look at some of the ways that have increased the complexity. So the implications of the expanding number of sites in the program are that we really have to look at decision-making, authority, day-to-day functioning, workload, and efficiency. And if you look at these numbers and you look at this, it's not sustainable, okay? Because everything rolls up to one person in this picture. Okay, one person who ultimately has to decide everything doesn't work in a model as complex as what we're talking about. So this is the big picture that you will be approving today with the job descriptions that you're approving. So, and this is not without some awkwardness of fit, if you will, okay? Because we've had some discussions that usually and traditionally we've kept director roles to the office. But it is hard to create the structure necessary to support the complexities of the vocational academies without what you see in front of you, and this is our very best offer. After much discussion and trying to make it work. So there will be a vocational academies director, you have that job description in your consent. There will be 2 vocational academies principals, and then there will be the 4 site-based vocational academy campus principals. The job descriptions support that they are vocational academy specific. The vocational academy campus principals make clear that this is a role that is still between vice principal and principal. It is not a full principal role. It makes clear that in the job description. But what you also will see is that the new campus, vocational academy campus principals recognize that if you are on a site at a vocational academy, you have much more responsibility than if you are a vice principal at a single classroom-based experience and your principal is always right there with you. But what we need is, we need the campus principals here to be able to have higher authority so that things don't get stuck or all pushed up to the director, what is now the director, okay? So the campus principals come with a higher amount of authority, decision-making in order to create more efficiency in this structure. We understand that this will be a year where we consider this a leadership structure pilot this year. So we are going to work on refining the roles, redefine the responsibilities, redefine the authority, making sure how it works and that the people are coached into the additional authority and responsibility that's being asked of them. And that in the spring, we will look at what's working or not working. Is it of integrity? Do we need to rewrite, revise, or reimagine any of these job descriptions? And is it financially sustainable? Which is incredibly important. It's a understanding that it is not any more numbers of staff than we've had before. It is new titles, and only one class in this group has more money, and that is slightly more money for the campus principals, and that's because 5 more days and significantly more authority is being given to them and being asked of them. But all that will have to be looked at for the future, depending on what happens in the legislation we just heard about. So that's the presentation to explain the job descriptions and the structure that I showed you. So if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer questions.
Yes.
I think in the presentation that we did, the year presentation that was made by Saba, made it very clear that the existing model, given the size of the growth of Saba and the fact that as a result of the interest rates that you pointed out, we now have 3 accreditations and 3 renewals
3 outcomes.
It's just, it is not, it's model cannot stand. I guess you identified the issue, and the issue is can we financially support this structure? But I think this structure probably gives us an opportunity for greater growth. If we have people on the side with the authority, instead of one person.
Grow the relationship.
To grow the relationships, and I think one of the things we've seen with Saba has been the growth in programs, which we're strongly supporting. But each one of those programs in vocational areas are intense
Yes.
to stay current. They're very expensive, not terribly cost efficient because of the fact that you have to put a lot of resources to get the right people in, to get the entry-level job training, whatever the vocational training is. And it's a real commitment. There's a reason that many of the traditional school districts are not emphasizing vocational. And that, but I think to our benefit, we recognize, again, what you said, that we are serving the population that is desperate for vocational and academic education not being served. Now, I strongly support this. It's just hopefully we have the resources to support the model.
And it is definitely in our intent to do everything we can to support the model, but I just have to caution, it is a matter of finances.
Well, growth is good, and growth is.
Good, growth helps support it, that's right, and we've already had that conversation, so.
And this was long over, I'm glad you looked at it as you did, because if not, we were really at the point where we weren't able to sustain all of the growth that was coming, and some change needed to take place, so it's a good thing. Any other comments? You echo? Okay. Any other statements or questions? So we're good. Okay. For the consent agenda items.
So moved.
So moved. Second. Okay, now we're open for discussion. Any discussion on any of the items from 6.1 to 6.7? Hearing none, we are all ready. All in favor of the consent agenda items, voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposition. The consent agenda items are moved. Thank you, board members. All right. We are down to item number 10, Central Administration, 10.1.
Yes, so this is just to confirm what we've shared in both the superintendent's update as well as the study session item. The board would be voting to confirm that we are submitting the Gateway Academic and Vocational Academy charter petition to the San Joaquin County Board on Appeal from Lodi. We're just confirming that action that we're taking.
So we need a vote on that. I'll entertain a motion.
I move approval.
Move approval. Second. Okay, we open for discussion. Any more discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor of 10.1 submission of the petition, voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All in favor. Thank you. All right. We are now at board comments. Any comments, board members? Yes, Mr. Locke.
I was going to back to school day. It was great last Friday. Lots of staff. Lots. I looked up, it's a wild place to school.
Yes.
And yesterday I went to AJLA in Futures. And I looked up, I said, wow. It's full. I mean, so many kids. I said, I can't count all these kids. All the things that was going on. You staff. And like Daniel said, he was in the classroom giving the kids how to act and how to do things in school. It was great work. So I see it's moving. I don't know.
In the right direction.
I'm beginning to wonder about this new charter. All these kids. So the growth is there.
Growth is good, Mr. Vaughn, growth is good.
Need more money.
More money lets you do more things for kids, that's the cycle.
That's true.
Any other comments? I too attended the back to school, but I do have one complaint.
Don't start.
I'm gonna start. I didn't get a pancake.
I didn't either.
I know we were out greeting and shaking hands and all.
Yeah, but it didn't give you anything to eat.
Shame.
I know, those of us that were serving, asked to wait, and there wasn't enough, so I told Mr. Sample who was the preparation part, I said, there has to be more pancake mix.
Gotta be more pancake mix, but it was really invigorating to see all of the staff members there, and it seemed that they really enjoyed the pancakes and the sausage. They were all very happy and just kind of enjoying themselves. Getting back to school.
Staff.
Miss Laura, what's the total number of staff right now?
Is that 560, 550, yeah.
So pretty much around the 550 number, 550, 560.
And it continues to increase as we've been making offers all last week and this week, so.
Yeah.
And did a good job, she did a good job of letting us know, having people stand if you were new to it, if you've been here 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. It was really great to see the staff and to see the new people who were there and just coming on for the first time. And again, Dr. Peterson did a great job of setting the stage for the year. What are the expectations, the core values and all of that. And it really was very, very well done, very well done. So I applaud you. Okay.
What was that little singing lady here? Little singing lady.
What was that?
Little singing lady, the lady that sing the
Maybe this.
song on the island.
Oh, Moana.
Moana.
I am pretty remembered from talking about Moana at the various things. So if you have not watched the movie Moana, it would take more time than we have to explain here. But, yes, I have been vetted on Twitter for channeling my inner Moana. It's all a good thing. Before we leave board comment, we would like to have you suggest any additional ideas that we might be able to include in your board retreat. We are already working on a number of items, but if you have things that are burning desires for us to cover, we would do our best to handle that. You will remember our next meeting is your board retreat, which is the 27th. 27th. So we will cover all the usual items, but if there is something that you are feeling pressing that you would like us to cover.
I think I had raised it a couple of board meetings ago about really an in-depth look at special education. What is the law is, what we have to provide, and what the structure to the movie is, and how to sell, which you said earlier, in that area, so what is all that mean? I just know it's really complicated and I really don't have an understanding.
That's why we hired such a wonderful person, and we
So
will
be able to do that.
But I know it's adding to your workload, I apologize.
She loves to talk about this stuff, so we will definitely bring something to you about special education. Thank you for the reminder. Are there any other items that you want to be sure? I mean, like I said, we will cover all the usual things that we cover that are kind of our standard things. We will be, approving our blueprint from the input of all the stakeholders. We'll be talking about our core values, our priorities, our goals. We'll be talking about facilities. We'll be talking about sustainability and succession planning type stuff. So all the usual stuff will be there, but there is still time in the next week if you can think of something today and you think of it to reach out to Ms. Patches, and again, we would do our very best to meet your needs for information. That's good.
And where will it's going to be? I know the retreat.
Oh, I'm sorry, the retreat will be here.
It will be here, that's what we need to know. So we have the date, but I just need to make sure it was here or not. So, yeah. Okay, anything else we need for the retreat information for members? And we will get the time and all of that will be sent out to us before that. So, any other closing comments before we adjourn for closed session? And the closed session will be 15-1 on the superintendent CEO evaluation. That is what we do. So with that, where will we be going?
We're going to the calendar.
Okay. Right, I know that, yeah. Okay, board members? Yes, we will.
Touch base. But, yeah, I started on our Monday and services.
Some of the SST stuff.
That's GCC.
Oh, see, I have a board meeting. Where I would like to. Yeah.
We'll take a few minutes.
Thank you all. I'll leave this. On this way.
Okay, I'm that way, sorry.
Bye, everybody. See y'all tomorrow. Bye, Brooke. Have a good night.
Hi, excuse you.
Are you out of here?
I need to get signatures from my board members.
Are you getting your involvement in the applications to check in?
Okay. I'm gonna talk about that. This is the time of the week.
I know, the lessons are so.
So the only change here is to put him on it as opposed to.
Right. But I see, I do special meetings because I said that. So, yeah. Oh, but it's okay. I do have some vision today. It's I did double check. And she said, well, you have more to use to show up. Well, and some of that I don't think we should have. But I don't know. I feel like we should, some of that stuff, I got you saying, oh, should be the campus person who advocates. Not that, because that thing is get an application. Yeah. And that's why this is, and that's why I said in the conception, this is, he's got to do something about that, but his target's not gonna happen that way. So, but we'll get, and don't change anything like that until we figure it out.
Who's that? Supposed to.
Well, I will tell you, so January, yeah. Because we
Where's the Cedar Cypress?
I think we should.
The name is on the back. He does speak French. Yeah, they're more, they're a mix, but pretty much. No, you gotta be, you know, the bakery, yeah, just. Arch Road, way south, south of stop.
To do the blue stuff.
Another 10 to 15 miles from the Lodi. 15 to. You get a hotel room. They're working there like 2 in the afternoon or something. Yeah. I think it's new, but like, how does that? Yeah. I think it's new.
Well, not on the 21st is February. We said that to us. But yeah, during the day.
But we're gonna get.
But we have to speak. Just to, I'm do that.
The X-Jacks.
And then I went to.
I don't even get through.
Very interesting. Here she comes.
It should be up and working.
Getting access points. Sorry, not that one. It's all one of these. It's very short. It's just your lunch break.
Install tomorrow, put in a ticket.
Scanner?
It's coming between.
Drop it?
One.
Or,
It says right here, it says right here, Michael, it says right here, there are Tuesdays at 9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Let's say it's on somewhere.
Tuesdays at 9 a.m.
I think they used to be happening maybe before.
See, when I showed you what I found from San Joaquin, and I swear it said noon.
There's some are the board of supervisors, but they might get different organization.
Somebody else said,
Maybe I'm looking at the board of supervisors instead of the county office of education.
All right, that's.
yeah, that's one. It's just the minutes.
I think the one I was looking at might have been the board of supervisors instead.
So our last meeting was held at 12 noon.
Where was your limit? Yeah, it says third Wednesday at noon.
Yeah.
Third Wednesday at noon, so this August 21st one, I was looking at the board of supervisors. August 21st one though, is the one he said was at 5 o'clock.
So.
So I thought he said September 10th.
September 18th.
September 8th, but didn't he say 10?
He did, but he also said, no, it's either no both meetings or no go on.
September 8th.
So it could be August 21st, September 18th.
And then 3 days on public, that you're going to is the 10th page of the laptop container, but that's not about, so we'd still be okay with open. But it means that even, that's the 18th and the 16th, if they don't ask to meet the 16th. Which will coincide about when the governor will, whatever actions is taken. We're still.
Wait a minute, the audience is gone.
No, let's hear the important is.
Oh, they all left. They did.
Everybody.
I don't know how they could do that.
You're not finished. We're back from the closed session and no action was taken at this point. There was no action taken in closed session. However, we were reviewing the superintendent's evaluation. And we have high accommodations. So we thank you. We did a lot this year, thanks to the staff members. A lot has been accomplished. We, board members, are very pleased with what has been accomplished. And you and I will set a time to over those hours. And dispatches, is there any way we can look at the numbers from last year and they go side by side on the sheet from last year and this year? Just the,
Oh, for evaluation?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
could you do that for us? Yeah, that's what we would like to see. Maybe. Just to see what we have. Anything else? That I didn't cover?
27th is everyone's good.
The 27th, and that's,
27, and at this point, approximately 8 to 4, approximately. We may start a little bit later, we don't know. But I have worked with one of our consultants and our GCC teacher leaders starting at 4. So we're gonna have a firm 4 in, I will tell you. So that's why we may need to start. I know. You guys will be at the bar without me, as I was saying. So, but we will look at the content and do our best to respect your start time and keep it a little after that if possible. But we're just asking you to hold 8 to 4 in case you need to.
okay, and with that, I will entertain a motion. All in favor? Guys have it. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you for your vote of confidence in me.
Oh, it's condolences.
You guys, I don't know.
You get to go to Lodi.
Yeah, you're right. That's it. That's why you did it. They'll get over there. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. You and I know you're busy, but we need to set up time.
I will work on it.
Take care. Have a safe drive. You home tomorrow or tonight?
I'm going tonight. I've got to play golf tomorrow, so.
Drive safe. Mike. Amos Landon in Stockton Unified as their Director of Career Technical Education for the entire district. I thought about it. Yeah, so he's got a major promotion. He's running all their CTE. Oh, Lord.